So before I start SQL Server, since it's a demo class today, let's understand few basic concepts so that you get a clear picture of what is database, how you organize data in database, uh, uh, plus what types of programs they provided to work on database. All those things we'll discuss under the concept of basics of database. So let's not directly start SQL Server. We require at least 1 or 2 sessions to enter into SQL Server. Okay, fine. Yes. Introduction. Yeah. And in this introduction, let me first highlight on how you organize data. How you organize data. This word organize is all about how you make data available. How you make data available. So usually you find that we have 2 techniques by which you can organize data. This is one technique, is what you call file system. That file which you call where you manage data is called flat file. Yeah, this is one technique. File system. You can call like this old way, to manage data. Easy way to manage data. But question is how you create this file. Yes. And before I get into this, this is only to give you an idea what is that we are going to discuss in this total architecture. You can better call agenda for today's class. First part will discuss how you organize data in 2 ways. 2 ways. Right? After that, we'll discuss disadvantages of file system. Then slowly I'll introduce the concept of database. Then we proceed with rest of the things. Okay. Okay. Now you can say file system. How do you create a file? Yes, file you can create in 2 ways. 2 ways. One way through built-in applications. Second, through programming languages. Okay. 2 approaches. Yeah, let me call. First one, built-in apps. Second, programming languages. 2 things. When I use these built-in applications, here I make a list actually. What is it? I can use Notepad. I can use MS Word. I can use MS Excel, etc. These all applications are going to work for built-in applications. And when it comes to programming languages, here also I make a list. C, C++, Java, Python, C#.NET, VB.NET, etc. These are through programming languages. So even programming languages will support to create a file, and through that file, you're going to manage your data. Now, something important to understand in this total scenario is what disadvantages that you would find in file system. Disadvantages. So let me list few of them so that you also can get an idea of why we are not discussing this with any practical orientation. Okay, disadvantages of file system. Yeah, actually, many disadvantages we have. We'll not waste time on discussing all of them. Few I'll give idea so that you can make clear picture on how those points are basically will be used in your database. Now, one drawback you find is no security. Major drawback. File system doesn't have what? Security. No security. Now, obviously, if you just go through this small example, assume that I open notepad. In that notepad, I'll just put content in it. I'll just put what? Content. Like what? Serial number, name, something like, some other personal information like contact number, email ID, and all that stuff. And if that laptop or if that desktop in which I recorded those details, if it is shared by someone else, so that person can easily open your file and can, copy the data, can mishandle the data, can modify data, can delete data, whatever you want, you can do on the data. Then what? So one point is there. Forget about notepad. Notepad, though, we can't think about any alternate. Even no WordPad also we don't have any alternate. But in MS Word, in MS Excel, I hope you know this very well, that you can protect your document, you can protect your Excel file with password. Do you have any idea on that? We can protect MS Word document. You can protect MS Excel, spreadsheet with the password. Yeah. Now, one point is that when you protect your document or Excel file with password, what is actually protected? Easy. Protection is for data. You protected data. A person with whom your laptop is, your desktop is shared, if that fellow tries to open your document, definitely the document will ask him to authenticate with password. So since that fellow is unauthorized, so he cannot make an entry into my file. So in that case, what is there in that case? Yes. Now, then we have a concept. What? That document cannot be opened. So the data is not visible. But one thing is that document content is not visible, but still that person can delete that file. Even though it is protected with password, still that file can be deleted. So obviously it makes no point. It makes no particular concept you find. You protected the document with password, the file can still be deleted. Then it makes no point of protecting password. No? You lost your file, you lost your data. So even in that case also, there is no security. One of the major disadvantages of file system, no security. And another important point that is what we that will make us to go to database. What is it? Fine. The second drawback, the second disadvantage of file system that you would find is always you find data inconsistency. Yes. Data inconsistency. What do you mean by this? I won't make technical terms used in it. I'll better make one simple example for you so that you can understand what actually it means about data inconsistency. Okay. Open Notepad. Say, for example, I have one file. Okay. I have one file. So let's call file 1.txt. I have another file 2.txt. Here I'll have product code, product name, stock. Here, product code, product name, sales. date of sales, amount. Okay. 101 A. 1890 is the stock. 102 B. 1500 is the stock. 103 C. 4278 is the stock. 104 D. 3312 is the stock. These are all available in what? File1.txt. And we got to have 4 products. 4 products. Now, point is, in file 2, means another file. I have one product that I sold, 103, whose product name is C, and I make a sales of 1000, some date, some amount. But interesting thing is what? Sales, 1000 you sold, 1000. Now you say me, when I make a sales of 1000 and that information is recorded in file 2, do you feel that the file 1 containing stock information will automatically gets updated? Do you feel that? 1000 I made a sale. Do you feel this 4278 will be updated to 3278? Will that happen in file system? Any file you think, any file,
No.
any 100% answer is no. No. Whether you talk about MS Word, you talk about Notepad, you talk about the Excel, you talk about any file, you don't have this option at all. As you make a sales of 1000, you have to manually go and update your file1.txt, updating your 1000, subtracting your 1000 from that value what I have there. So now I come with the conclusion. Now I come with the conclusion. What is the conclusion? Changes made in one file does not reflect in other files is what you call data consistency. Data inconsistency, sorry. What do you call that as? Data inconsistency. What is the description I said? Changes made in one file when automatically does not reflect in other files. That process is called what? Data inconsistency. Hope you understood the example and the definition, what I said just now. You have anything still to ask me, go ahead. If not, I'll continue with the next part. Both of you.
Yes, yes, sir.
You're clear? You're comfortable? You
Yes,
understood? Okay, fine.
Clear.
yes.
Okay, chalo, right. Now let me talk on third disadvantage. The third drawback that you would find is about file system is cannot avoid redundancy. Yes. Same piece of data again and again, you can store in file system. Same piece of data. Same data you store 10 times, it will accept. Same data you store for 20 times, it will accept. File system will never say you that already so-and-so data is with me, please don't store the next information. Never it says you. Same piece of data you store 10 times it will record. Same data. You understand? That is another drawback you have on file system. Like this, when you start, a fourth drawback also. Difficulty in accessing required data. One more disadvantage. Difficulty in accessing what? Required data. Better I call, na? Instead of saying all this. Filtering data. Required data accessing is filtering. Filtering data is what? What is filtering data? Valid or invalid? Yeah, filtering data. Remember, filtering data. In some file systems, filtering data is valid, but 1 condition, 2 condition, 3 condition, fine. Okay, manageable. But more conditions you start creating on filtering data, then things go complex, things go confusion. So we don't feel better, in working with file system. Database gives you an easy approach to, filter the data. Yes. These are some of the disadvantages. that you would find available in what? File system. So finally, to overcome all these issues, we were introduced by second way of organizing data. And here comes the introduction of database. Yes, database. And when it comes to definition, about database, instead of coming up with all various definitions, I just make this database quite very simple. Remember the picture of database? Definition is with you. Database always represents with this cylindrical shape object. This is how database looks like. Yeah, let me draw it so that you can understand. Yeah. Yeah, this is the representation of what? Database. First, keep this picture. Definition is with you now. Yes. How do you define? Yeah, this is how you define. Database is defined as logical container. This word is important, please. Database is defined as what? Logical container. It's like container. But word I used is logical container. So always you find, even in SQL Server as well, database is logically represented, even physically represented. Physical representation is about hard disk, data getting stored in hard disk. Logical representation is that something is stored which is visible, but actually that is not happening in it. Yeah, the coming classes may explain you what exactly the story on this part is. Is defined as what? Logical container. What contains? Which contains related objects. And when I use the word objects, includes what? Tables, views, synonyms, sequences, indices, constraints, stored procedures, stored functions, stored triggers, etc. Yes. These all are called what? Objects. That is what we are going to study in our SQL Server. Tables are of 5 types. Views are of few types. Synonyms, index sequences, indices are of types. Constraints are of type. Procedures are of type. List is their list. And another interesting thing is database usually will be of 2 types. Databases. Usually, databases will be of how many? Two types. 2 types. What are they? Yes, one is called OLTP. Second is called OLAP. OLTP, OLAP. Yeah, OLAP is all about data warehouse, DWH. OLAP. OLTP is online transaction processing. OLAP is online analytical processing. 2 types. So something OLAP is related with data warehouse. Now in this database, you need to do operations. You need to do operations. What operations? Obviously, it's all about insertion of data, modification of data, deletion of data, modifications to data. So to do all those, we are introduced by DBMS, Database Management Systems. That is what we are introduced with. And how do you describe this? Yeah, easy to say, no? definition. You can say collection of software programs used to store, manage, and retrieve data is what the definition says about DBMS. Collection of software programs used for what? For three reasons. Three reasons. You can store data, you can manage data, you can retrieve data. And one most important point, that retrieval will play a major role in database. And it is based on three factors. Data retrieval. It is based on three factors. Yeah. What are those three factors? What are those three factors? Yeah, one is called A, T, R. Three factors. A, T, R. Three factors. How do you describe? Yeah, we talk about relevancy, timeliness, accuracy. Yes, you just attach these words to those alphabets. Relevancy, timeliness, accuracy. Collection of software programs used to store, manage, and retrieve data based on how many factors? Three factors. How do you describe them? Yeah, you can say like this. You can say like relevancy, related data, timeliness, within the time, accuracy, free from errors. Yeah. Related data, within the time, free from errors. Now, this DBMS is now classified into four types. We have four types. Yes, this is one category. One. This is second category. This is third category. And this is fourth category. Yes. Total four are there. How do you describe them? Yeah, you can say now one as HDBMS, NDBMS, RDBMS, ORDBMS. NDBMS, RDBMS, ORDBMS. Yes. Now how you describe? Yes. H is hierarchical. N is network. R is relational. OR is object relational. Yes, four are there. Hierarchical DBMS, network DBMS, relational DBMS, and object relational DBMS. Four are there. In that four, these two are outdated. You don't find them now available. These two. HDBMS and NDBMS. Yeah, both of them are not available. These two are going with ongoing with developments. Yeah, two. First two is what you refer as what? Outdated. Outdated. And here it is a combination of two things. Outdated. HDMS and DMS both are outdated. Why? Why it is outdated? Because I said no, it's a combination of two things. I'm saying two things. Why? Because you manage database using programming languages here. You're going to manage data using what? Programming languages. That is the reason it is outdated. Which programming languages? Two are mostly used here. Two languages mostly used for programming. And that too, you should be thorough with data structures in that. One is called C, one is called Pascal. These are the two programming languages that are used in these two. And that too related with what? Data structures. That's the reason people felt quite lengthy, heavy, confusion, risk in maintaining data. Then they have come up with what? RDBMS and RDBMS. Here, what you do is you manage database not with programming language. Rather, we are introduced by one special language to manage database. In RDBMS and on ORDBMS, there comes introduction of SQL, structured query language. SQL is introduced. And hardly, few things are logical in it, few things are syntax based. SQL deals with two things. So separate, we'll coming classes, maybe we'll learn separate topic or separate session. We'll have to understand about what SQL. Now, if you to make this in a simple way or to identify the importance of SQL, let me give you another example. So that you can understand how SQL is going to play major role. Okay, first on one end, let me write all database softwares, RDBMS softwares. Yeah, make a list here. One, our subject, SQL Server, Oracle, DB2, MySQL, Sybase, Teradata. Yes. All these are what? Database softwares. SQL Server is Microsoft product, Oracle is Oracle Corporation's product, DB2 is IBM's product, MySQL is product of Sun Microsystem, Sybase is a product of Sybase International, Teradata is a product of Teradata company. Yeah, all are going to manage database. Everyone is going to manage database. Copy this, paste, dump here. Yes, this is database. Now it's quite simple to understand. If this database is created in SQL Server, so SQL Server database. If it is created in Oracle, so Oracle database. If it is created in DB2, so it is DB2 database. If it is MySQL database. And now if it is created in Sybase, so Sybase database. If this is created in Teradata database. But all are going to communicate with what? All are going to communicate with what? Database. Now you can just take simple example like this. This database, which I placed here, assume this is like a mobile handset. Database is like mobile handset, I'm saying. These all database examples I placed now, database softwares examples. These all are like service providers. All are like what? Service providers. Service providers. All are like service providers. Like you can assume this is like Airtel, Aircel, Jio, Vodafone, like that. You got all these service providers, I'm saying. This is like mobile handset. Now you say me, if this is assumed to be like Airtel, for example, if I want to use Airtel services in my mobile, what my mobile should contain then? If I want to use Airtel services in my mobile, what my mobile should contain? What it should contain? Simple, SIM card. SIM card of what? Airtel. Does it mean that my mobile can have only SIM card of Airtel? Does it mean so? Does it mean so? Do you understand that way? If I'm going with
No.
Airtel SIM card in my mobile, does it mean that my mobile can have only a SIM card of Airtel? Not at all.
No.
No, because the slot which is created in mobile where SIM card is placed, it is designed in such a way that it can have a SIM card of any service provider. SIM card of any service provider. Any service provider. Yeah. Now, 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 if this may be a situation, like this may be a situation I'm saying, like what situation? Example is like Anurag is using, for example, in his mobile a SIM card of Airtel, and I am using a SIM card of some other network, and someone is using again a SIM card of some other network. Why we are changing? So why all of us are not going with the same this one? Only one reason it could be a point. Only one reason. And that point is the locality, the place where you stay. So might be services of that particular network which you are using might be good. As simple as that. There's no logic in it. There is no much logic. I mean, like something like difficult to understand in it. Because if you just focus in all these service providers, tariff will be same only. Tariff will be same. Tariff will be same. Everyone will provide you same tariff. Minor changes may be there in the tariff. If Vodafone says 100 rupees like 300 SMS, Airtel is saying 90 rupees, same facility, but little reduction is in the cost. In that way, you find a difference. Exactly same way. SIM replacement for all these database softwares to work on database is SQL. As SIM is for communication between service provider and your mobile, exactly same way. Remember, you are going to replace SIM with what? SQL. SQL, structured query language. That is what, at least with this picture, you can understand now. The SIM is common for all service providers, exactly same way. SQL is common for all database softwares. And if you ask me, as far as my experience is concerned, this is what I feel. What if you know SQL thoroughly in SQL server, it means you are done with the SQL language in all database softwares. You don't need to again separately learn SQL in Oracle, separately learn SQL in DB2. No, you're good in SQL of one database software. According to me, you're done with SQL in all these database softwares. You understand? And make this point quite very clear. SQL introduction will be a separate topic in our course content. Separate topic, separate. Coming classes, but definitely you people will experience the total introduction of SQL. Yes, this is the demo class. This was the introduction part, that which I covered. Whatever is